Macro Traveler is basically a blog or a brand, which you can also see. I do quite a lot of branding as well. So I am 31 years old. Just to give you an understanding of what I am doing and all of that. So at this age, I've started blogging almost 12 years back, but that was just a part-time job. So I had a full-time as well just after my college. I'm based out of Bangalore itself. So I studied my BBM, I did my MBA and all of that. And then I moved into marketing because that was my kind of crux of doing, like I liked marketing and sales. So I moved into marketing and sales. But during that time in 2008, I kind of started liking to write about stuff, especially technology, because that was picking up. So I was sharing lots of information on technology on my Facebook and Orkut. These were the early Orkut and Facebook days. So all my friends used to say, why were you so active? Like literally 24 hours, I used to be online on Facebook and Orkut. So they were asking me, what do you get by being online? Like, I'm sure that you wouldn't make money out of it. So this was way back. So obviously that I was like, okay, I'll kind of like this platform, the way I could interact with people, share my opinions. So that is where it all started. I started sharing my opinions about things I like, things I don't like. This is in 2008 when people didn't even know what is social media or where it's heading to. So, but if you come back to 2020, you actually know so much of information you can gather from it and all of that. So this is how it started. So I started writing on technology, travel, lifestyle. So I started writing quite a lot about everything I used to do. I used to do quite a lot of travel, personal travels initially with family and all of that. But from there, I started doing about technology because I used to write about technology as well. And mobiles, in fact, so I also used to do quite a lot of coding and all of that in initial Android days. So I started writing of all of this and all. Then the way it started growing, because it was more of a passion, I started going to restaurants, started eating like kind of food I like, being a vegetarian. I started sharing all that opinion. So people started responding. So I started seeing an increase in the friends request and the followership on these two channels. Initially, it was Facebook and Orkut. And by then, Orkut kind of slowed down. Then Facebook and Twitter picked up. So this is where it all started. So before I get into more of it, let me show you a presentation because in that you will find more information. So let me get into that. Said Macro Traveler. Now you can give a face to why the branding is. I'll come back to the name and all of that once I start talking about my journey and how you can be an influencer. So the whole discussion or the topic I would want to put it across is I didn't start as an influencer, but it just evolved and I make a living out of it. So my current motto, what I say is I travel for a living and I make money out of it, and whatever I do around it is all related to this. And it's not as easy as it looks. So I'll tell you the journey and how you guys also can become an influencer. And it's never too late. Okay, just exactly what Arjun was saying. This is my profile. So, like I said, started in 2008. I was in college that I'm just passed out of college. And in fact, I did my first international trip in 2010, again through college. That was to China. Unfortunately, we can't say that name now. But yeah, for the last 10 years, I've done more than 30 countries. Quite a lot of them have been with brands because I work very closely with tourism boards, countries, and I promote their travel and all of that. So I've done lots of international travels with other boards and creating content, helping them to promote to get more tourism and branding and visibility out there. So that is what I have been doing. So I'll come to the stories, interesting snippets and stories of all the countries I visited and all of that. And yeah, so also other than this, I have another side of it. Yes, I am a blogger. I travel for a living. I'm a social media influencer, Instagrammer. This is all I used to do as a passion. But other than that, I also run a company called GV Media Tech, which Arjun mentioned. So basically this, I started once I became an influencer, like this was in 2015 when I actually quit my full-time job. In fact, the last job I quit also was in a university, because I used to work as a social media head for another university. And I quit that, and I thought, okay, why don't I make this as a profession? And that's how it all started. That time I was not sure if travel and especially blogging influencer would make so much of money, or would I be able to make a living out of it. So I started this company called GV Media Tech, which also works on the similar lines, where it is an influencer and digital marketing company, where we basically work and collaborate with brands and influencers, help brands to use the influencers in the right way, so that they can get the maximum benefits, they can get the good reach. And so I will be talking from both the aspects, so that you understand how a brands can engage you as an influencer, and how you add value to yourself as your brand, as yourself as a brand. So basically, you need to build yourself as a brand. I built Nivedha G as a brand called Macro Traveler. That's how people know me as, because they know, okay, they can relate me to travel, and this is what I look. So I also over the course, like I said, I started as a blogger, so I used to write quite a lot. So I also started then writing for quite a lot of prestigious and premium magazines and publications across the globe. Some of them, even now I write. I'm one of the editors for Lonely Planet magazine India. You will see a couple of articles once I come down the slide. And this next one is one of the most important things of my like, if I talk of my life, this would be the first highlight was Oscars. So I was invited by Oscars in 2018 as one of the only bloggers to come and cover Oscars. Generally Oscars don't do this, because they don't need promotion, everyone knows what Oscar is. But this I had to do is because they reached out to me. I don't even know how they reached out. I'm sure they would have checked my social media profiles and all of that. But very interesting story was, this happened in March 2018. And in November end or December starting of 2017, I got a call. First, I got a mail, and then I got a call actually from FBI. So they do a background verification, because there are only 700 guests allowed in Oscars like to attend. Everyone has to be verified, background check and all of that. And then once everything is done, they flew me to US. This was my second trip to the US. Again, all my travel. Someone's mic.
Kasturi, can you switch off the audio?
Yeah.
I think it's
Perfect. Okay.
Kamal, leave and switch off the audio.
Yeah, so like I was saying, the Oscars 2018. So this is how it happened, my second trip to US. And also one of the other things is I'm also part of it right now, part of the Facebook and Instagram official content creator community. So we directly work with the platform. Now that we have been one of the oldest influencers, I'm working with them directly. We help them to educate the upcoming creators and influencers how to use the platform more effectively, because there are quite a lot of technicalities and things that are needed to use it more in a better way, for both for brands and as an influencer. And there are much more which I have done. I think if I do all this, it's going to take me next 1 hour to talk all the stuff. So I will be coming back to my travel journey. So you guys can follow me. These are my 4 channels. So like I said, I started with my blog, which was Macro Traveler. Actually, this blog also started in 2015. I initially had a blog called nivedhg.com, which was my name. So over the years, I've also evolved, and I kind of understood what the market needed, and I had to build on that. So I thought having a brand name would be a better way to relate, rather than having a generic, like your own name, because then people didn't know what exactly I used to do, because I used to do quite a lot of everything, like travel, food, lifestyle. But then travel was my first love. So I thought, why not stick with it? So 2015, once I left my job, I thought, okay, I should do this, build a brand for myself. Like you say, see the logo, caricature. I thought, let me build a character to it so that people can relate to it. In fact, the way the character works is, right now I also have merchandising stuff. I do e-commerce with it. I also do lots of based on my, like, if there's a festival right now, or if something that's special occasions, I use the character to build it. Or every location I go, I have a theme to Macro Traveler. You can check it out on my blog. There is a section for that, and also on all my social media channels. And I have my Twitter account, Facebook. So I've also evolved with social media based on the way it kind of progressed. So it was more of Orkut, one of the first influencers to be on Orkut, then moved into Facebook. Then Twitter was something which was trending that time, and now Instagram. Then you have TikTok. So I'm also, in fact, getting my hands on TikTok as well. So the what I would say again, when you're becoming an influencer, you also have to understand what platform works for you and your audiences. That is very important, because you can have a presence in everything, but you need to be strong in two main platforms minimum. One is should be your primary, other one should be your secondary platform, because audiences are different in different platforms. I'm sure all of you are there on Instagram, but when it goes to a big higher age group, maybe your parents or someone above 40, 45, I'm sure most of them are on Facebook. And more different kind of audiences are on Twitter. And there are people, the much more younger crowd is on Snapchat or TikTok, or also on the other channel, YouTube as well. Lots of people. So I have, in fact, started a YouTube channel recently. So one of the reasons, again, I wasn't doing YouTube or this one is it's very time consuming. So like I said, you need to understand which platform works for you better. So like I said, these were some of the articles which I've written. I've traveled, so I get opportunity to travel like this across the globe with brands. So this was for Lonely Planet magazine, where I had gone to Austria. I had written about Austria. So I had articles published. I did something with Singapore. People who have gone to Singapore would know about Sentosa. So it's an island. I've written about Sentosa as well, both on Femina and also on Lonely Planet. And all my media mentions, I've gone to Macau and all of that. So Times of India. And so these are the kind of articles. So this also helps to build you as a brand. The reason why I wanted to show some of the snippets is so you would like once you start building yourself as a brand, credible brand, this is very important, because you have a social presence, but you also need to have an offline presence, especially on the media, on the offline media and print media as well. So now, though I've told you all about influencer and all of that, you might still ask, what exactly does an influencer mean? Because this is a question which everyone would want to know, what exactly does an influencer do? So basically what I would say is, if I can influence you, or if I can make you to take a decision, I am an influencer. Decision can be for anything. If I influence you to take a course up in Christ College, then I am influencing you. I am being a motivator to take a positive or negative decision, but I am influencing you in a good or bad way. So that is called an influencer. So how this can be used? So basically, like this says, right, there are different types of influences. So you have celebrity, then you have to build a character or brand to you. And then you will also have to engage, or you have to have a story to it. You can't just put random stuff. You can't just put, okay, I am traveling here or I'm in the flight. You will have to build a backstory to it, saying why you're doing this, why you like it, what is your perspective, all of that. And then you will also have to build and connect or trust with the influence with the followers you have, or people who follow you, people who like your content. And then obviously comes the followers, because whatever you talk, it has to reach to an audience, right? So that audience is they follow whatever you say. And then you obviously share your updates, reviews, experiences, and you will have to be very transparent and honest. So this is one of the very basic and important criteria. Nowadays, not too many people do that, but I'll come to that as well. And you have to be very professional in what you talk about and all of that. So, like I said, the type of influencers. So, there are four main categories of influences which the brand classify as. So, I'm talking from a brand side. Like if you want to know what kind of category you fall into, you will come to know once you do this bifurcation. So mainly we would have all been seeing there have been TV ads and paper ads and promotions and all of that, offline, radio, television. So these were the kind of promotions which has been happening all this while in the last century or so. But now when there is a platform, which people are. So it is all online. There are more people who are spending time online because they have access to internet. They need to socialize online and all of that. So which is where brands started promoting, or brands started advertising themselves, so the people know that okay, they exist as well. So that's where they started classifying the kind of influencers. So you obviously, the offline celebrities are also there nowadays online. So they almost move in the same way. And then you have someone called the subject matter expert. So for example, Arjun is a subject matter expert in what he's teaching, maybe CA and all of that. You have thought leaders, someone who is in IT, Narayan Murthy, maybe as IT person, as subject leader. So these people are industry experts or thought leaders. And then you have micro influencers who have a little lesser following, but they still have impact to that. So imagine that they impact maybe 1,000 people or 5,000 people, but they still have a better impact rather than people, or rather than someone who is just using social media but doesn't have a proper plan or strategy as such. And then you have someone called bloggers and content creators, who are basically social media influencers. Maybe they write or they create videos, text, image, content. So these are the kind of ways they engage with their followers. So these are the category of influencers which get bifurcated for a brand. And once you start off, you would obviously know you will generally fall into a micro influencer or nano influencer when you start off. And just to give you a backdrop, it is never too late to become an influencer, or never too late to start anything new. But one of the main reasons you have to get into, if you're getting into influencer marketing or influencer, is you need to know what you like. You just don't want to do for the heck of it. Or in fact, I keep getting messages every day saying, okay, I want to become an influencer or a blogger. But the main reason I want to do is I want to travel free. I want to do stuffs like you do. I want to eat in the best of hotels and restaurants, all of that. And I basically want to make money. I wouldn't say that should be the main motto, because you need to understand what you like first. So you like traveling, so you start working on that. So you would have, I'm sure everyone would have traveled anyways. It's something which we all used to do, not currently though. So how can you make this viable? Like, how can you use this to reach out to audiences, or build a kind of community around you? People should start knowing you for that particular community. That is what I also started doing. Though I used to travel quite a lot, I was not documenting it properly or putting on social media. So how I started doing as a blogger, I started writing about it, taking pictures from different angles. Then on social media, how I started making using hashtags, started making it to reach to more people. And how every platform works very differently. So you also need to understand how each platform works and which content works better for which kind of audiences. So, and this is how I know it is it looks a little complicated, but once you start you doing it, or once you start sharing content or being active on it, then you will know it's easy. It's just that one of the main or easiest thing to do is you need to be consistent. So even if you can, for the next 3 to 6 months, if you put one post a day of something you like every single day on a platform, you will see a difference. You don't need to promote or run ads on a profile, or you will see that people will start engaging. You will see traffic coming in. You don't need to have fancy gadgets. You don't need to have a DSLR, or you don't need to have a crane, drone to shoot content, any kind of. So it's not only travel. For any kind of thing, you like to to be a food blogger or a fashion, lifestyle, any kind of thing. In fact, nowadays, the more niche you are, the better the brands like to engage with you. In fact, fitness, or even if you're doing on real estate, finance. In fact, I keep getting quite a lot of responses from brands, especially banking sectors, asking, we need lots of financial bloggers. We need lots of real estate bloggers, because brands are ready to put in money to promote, but they don't have the right kind of people. They're not able to find the right segment of people. So if you think you have a flair there, you understand the subject better, you can start sharing about it. Even if you don't, you can start studying, working on it, because everyone has to start off with somewhere, right? You will have to to research, share information, but it's all about consistency. So you have to be very,
Nivedit,
yeah,
there was a couple of questions which I had received on a mail,
yes,
which I thought it's appropriate to ask right now.
sure,
When you are
okay,
talking of DSLR and other things,
uh-huh.
is it necessary that a blogger should have a DSLR to start off with? They can do it with their mobile phones also, right? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, that is what I was saying. So I said you don't need to have fancy stuff to create content. So it is all about having your own perspective, originality, and you will also have to build your niche. So for example, I'm doing travel. So I have to take beautiful photos, right? So beautiful doesn't mean I need to edit it so much or I need to use a 5D Mark IV or the best of DSLR. Even on photos, in fact, you've been following me on social media for quite some time, and 80 or 90% of my content is all created on phone. In fact, I use DSLR only to even create videos because of the quality of audio. That's the main reason, not even for video, because I can get better audio in that rather than that. So it doesn't make sense to invest too much when you're starting off. So you can use whatever you have near you, but just like I said, you need to be consistent. It is all about creating the right content and consistency, because I know lots of people who do this for maybe 15 days, 20 days, but after that they kind of feel lethargic or they obviously get busy. Another
Okay.
example, like I gave you, or you also used to know, I used to I used to be, obviously I was obese and all of that, right? It was because I didn't give it priority that I had to lose weight. But now in the last 3 months, I gave that priority and made sure I will stick to whatever I do. And over the last 3 months, I lost around 32 kgs. So it is all about making up mind and making sure what works and what doesn't work for you. And it's all about consistency. If you're consistent in anything, you can do it.
Okay, Nivedit, there was a question asked by Kiran.
Uh-huh.
He's saying, will you earn through blogging? Does blogging give you any income stream?
Okay. So I think I'll take this up in the future, like in the next slides, because there are information on that, how it comes and how much can
Okay,
you do, how much I
sure,
can give you approximate numbers so that you have an idea and all of that. But I'll come to that
sure.
once we get into the
Raghav, even your question, I think I'll take it up in the end. We'll just continue with it.
Yes,
Nivedit.
yes. Because
Yeah.
in fact, the questions you have given me, I've already have it in the PPT. So I will take it up that time. I think that will be more easier because by then I'm sure most of the questions also will be answered in the presentation. But I can take it up individually also. That's not an
Sure,
issue
Nivedit.
because
Yeah.
there are quite a lot of content, like
Okay, sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, like I said, influencer marketing, right? We were at what influencer marketing gets. So brands basically use influencers to promote their products or services to the people who follow the influencers. That is all influencer marketing. So where I said these are the category of influencers type: nano, micro, medium, mega. Generally, celebrities all come into mega. Then you have medium, someone like me and all. Then there are people who are micro, who are smaller influencers, and then you have the newbies or just upcoming people, nano. So anyone and everyone can be an influencer. And the reason I wanted to show you these slides, because I've taken lots of data and analytics which are there on real-time basis, so that people know about what's happening, what the industry actually wants, and what works better. Because you shouldn't be discouraged that, okay, I don't have so much of followers. Maybe I don't have 10K followers or 100K followers, so I wouldn't be able to make money. So the reason I showed this is these are the actually the engagement numbers. So for 100, for 10,000 maximum followers on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, these are the average engagement numbers. So what is engagement? Engagement is the amount of people who engage or who go to a post, like, comment, share, repost, and all of that. That is engagement, or reply to your stories and all of that. So the numbers are actually higher in nano because your audiences are much niche. So if you have maybe 10,000 people, in that you have almost 400 people engaging, which is great. So but when you go to micro, the percentage goes lesser because the audiences get bigger, the percentage goes lesser. But the reason I showed this is because what happens, brands generally nowadays, at least in the current trend, they want to target more of nano and micro rather than a single. So someone who is a celebrity would obviously charge a bomb, but I can use the same amount. Imagine that person is charging 10 lakhs for a post, but I can use 10 lakhs and give it to maybe 50 nano and 10 micro influencers. That way the amount might be lesser, but I get a better reach and better engagement numbers. So this is how brands start thinking. So this is very important when you are building as an influencer. So again, I've given more data and understanding of what brands kind of understand. So one of the things which influences work very well with brands how is you become a brand advocate. So for example, you like a brand. It's not that you're being paid to promote. You generally like a brand. So just to give an example, maybe you like Adidas because you've been using Adidas for a while. So you start sharing about how you use it in your daily life, like the shoe, how comfortable it is. You do running with it, or you use it for sports, adventure activities. You start sharing about all that information, or even mobile phones. So I work and promote quite a lot of phone companies. So maybe any brand, whichever you use currently, even if you start sharing, okay, this camera in this particular mobile, maybe OnePlus is taking really great photos. It has great low light for photography specifications and all of that. So this, what happens is once you start sharing about your opinion about things, brands themselves will start brands are always looking for new people, new influencers. So they will see, oh, someone is already talking about XYZ thing. Why don't I reach out to them and use them as part of the overall campaign? So that's why the brands generally reach out to an influencer marketing company, someone like GV MediaTek, or there are quite a lot of influencer marketing companies. And those influencer marketing companies actually give a list of people. They come up with a strategy saying, okay, we can use these number of people, these kind of profiles, because they suit your kind of products. If you're in food influencer, then you do cooking, or you go to restaurants, review and all of that, then I can use you to a brand, something related to that, maybe an ITC or a Marriott. I can use you in that level. Or if you're a tech blogger, obviously based on mobiles or technologies, I can do that. Or travel, maybe make my trip or book my maybe Airbnb and all of that. So these kind of people, I can obviously relate and have that. Someone who talks related to the brand, I can use them. So that is very important. Okay. So I also wanted to share what the global influencer marketing is happening. It's not only about India, because globally this is something which is like a new revenue or new stream, which is career stream, which is already started maybe 12 years ago globally. And India, maybe I still would say, because I interact with quite a lot of influencers across the globe, we are still maybe 5-6 years behind them. So if you take on a global level, this is what they say in 2020, influencer marketing was expected to grow to almost $9 to $10 billion. With the current scenario, things are not as great. I'm sure, with every industry being hit thanks to the pandemic, even influencer itself. In fact, we are also one of them, especially for me, someone who travels for a living. Since 2015, I have not been in Bangalore for more than 15 days, and this is the longest time I have stayed in Bangalore. This is the kind of issues we also go through. But nevertheless, when things get better, I'm sure things will start moving to normalcy as well. And then the number of, like I said, exactly, the influencer marketing. So many new companies have been started, and new platforms which is into, like TikTok is just one of them which we know, but there are lots, like is there, Hello, there are lots of new apps and platforms which are coming up every single year. So there is so much of demand. That is why so much of companies and agencies and platforms are coming up as well. And TikTok has been one of the most downloaded app on Apple Store in the last year as well. That way you kind of understand where it is going. People are kind of using more of video and small content, funny content, much more than maybe a blog nowadays. Because when we started off, writing was the easiest medium. Obviously, people didn't have much of internet and all of the people were reading more of stuffs. But now people don't have so much of patience. So everyone wants quick or like micro content kind of thing. So that is where people want more of visual content, which is photos and image videos, which is what is working. Maybe that's the reason why TikTok is doing really well. And like I exactly said, nano and micro influencers have better engagement rates or better reach than the superstars or the celebrities of social media. And Instagram is now, right now, any brand wants to be on Instagram and wants to use influencers on Instagram, be it a new brand, old brand, it doesn't matter. Even Apple does campaigns on Instagram nowadays. That's how it is. And then so all companies, big company, earlier it was marketing was all about TV ads, radio, paper. You would have seen Times of India or any other newspaper that 6-7 pages would be only of ads, branded ads. But then now there are lots of promotions which has come online, and lots of them are happening on social media. They're building ads and advertisements only for social media nowadays. That's how it's gone. So that is the way the amount of campaigns, because when we started there were hardly any, like people didn't even know we could use them to promote. It was very hard. People till maybe 2013-14, brands were not even ready to pay. It was more of barter system. They used to give some vouchers to promote and all of that. That's how lots of influencers I knew. Maybe there are only 200, 300 influencers till 2013. But this sudden boom in the last 5 years is gone haywire. I'm sure now almost everyone is an influencer. Like they say, everyone is a photographer, everyone is an influencer as well. And the amount of money spent, which I was saying also, the brands, there are lots of brands who spend quite a lot of amount, $50,000 on influencers. These are global numbers, so that's why I'm saying in dollars as well. And there are a good amount of people who still spend really high. This is really high amount compared to what was happening maybe 5 years back, because people didn't want to spend money on influencers. Everyone thought social media was free. Facebook was free. You don't need to pay for the platform. Why should I need to spend some money on someone to promote it on Facebook or Instagram when it's free for them? What's the use? I'll tell you why they need to spend money and why it's not free. Nothing is free in life. And now, how do brands measure influencer marketing? They measure the if someone is using you as an influencer, how do they know this is successful or not? The main things is conversion or sales, because earlier it was all about reach. Okay, I could reach 1 million people or 10 million people. But now it's not about the reach anymore. But can I maybe get more people who are interested, or can I sell maybe even 10 people or 50 people? Can I sell this product? That is more important. And this is something which has been very common. I have seen it happening all this while in the, especially last 3 years, the influencer fraud. Basically, it is, so with the way that things have been growing in this influencer marketing, everyone wants to be an influencer, right? So what initially they thought that the maximum number of followers you have, the more money you can make, or the more the brands would work with you. So that's why people didn't want to grow their followership in the right way or organic way. People started buying fake followers. So this is one of the things which has been a big concern for brands and for agencies like us who work with brands, because nowadays we have tools and softwares to gauge. It's not only followers. We don't go with influencers based on followers. We in fact go with the kind of engagement they get and relevant engagement. Do they really have engagement based on what kind of content they share? That is very important, because anyone can have followers, but they can just share random, and you might have bots to comment and all of that. But do you have relevant things? There are softwares and websites which can actually track the relevancy and all of that. So there are quite a lot of intricate details which gets into it when the brand selects an influencer to work with, because they invest money, so they need value out of it, right? Okay, so now that I spoke about the global thing, you would want to know what influencer marketing in India, and if you want to be an influencer in India, obviously how it works, how did it do for so long and all of that. So just giving you a summary of it. especially last year, there are lots of brands, everyone, almost even TV. I have been part of most of them. These are some of the brands which I have also worked with and been part of as an influencer as well. So Game of Thrones, everyone would think why Game of Thrones would need promotion, but still they had to do IPL, because all this have reached, but everyone wants to get a much more better audiences, bigger audiences, which is very important. So that is where brands come up with new innovative ways, campaigns, ideas to promote on the platform. So this is where Instagram and Twitter were used for all Hotstar, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Amol, and all of that. So they started building, so they started coming up with new ideas how to use influencers, how they can use quirky content, different content to reach out to it, and all of that. So like I said, it is a trend which has grown in the last 5 years so exponentially, and it is not going to slow down. In fact, every year it's been growing for more than 60-70% is what I would say the growth rate. And this is there to stay. It will not go off. So it's never too late. You can start off even as nano. In fact, one of the good reasons now is brands want more of micro and nano influences. So that is a really correct timing if you want to start off. You don't need to do it as a full-time thing, even if you have a job or you have something else, but you can be more active. My thing is to be active, consistent every single day, and try to create some different, innovative, unique content. Even though you're in lockdown, if you go on my social media channels, you will see how on Instagram or something, I'm trying to keep my audiences active, because I can't promote or do anything on travel, because people wouldn't search on travel right now, right? When you can't travel, what will you talk about? But even in that, how I can make it a little more innovative. That's one of the reasons why I also, though I do travel, I thought let me get into a little bit of fitness. Someone who is who can't travel, I can use that time, do more of fitness, more of little bit of cooking and all of that. So whatever real time stuff changes I could do, even I started working on those content, and it did really wonders. And okay, these are the budget. Like you saw the cost of budgets of influencer marketing, what brands were ready to spend for a particular campaign. Like they're launching a new show, or they're launching a new product, or a new series, anything. How much money was a brand spending or ready to spend or have allocated for a year? So these are the average, like around 1 to 10 lakhs. 32% of the people or brands were ready to spend so much of amount, and they were somewhere even going up much more than that as well. So you had quite a lot of them were ready to spend more amount of influencer marketing, which is actually showing the numbers are increasing and things are just going to get better from here. It's just that situations also matters right now. Obviously everyone wants to save money, they want to use on their regular essential resources, but once things get better, things get back to normal, I'm sure this will also move in the same direction. Okay, why would brands collaborate with influencers? Again, I'll just run through it so that you just have an approximate idea of what is it. So one of the reasons why they want to work with influencers, they get better visibility, they get better leads. Like if someone is interested, like you want to buy a mobile, think that you've been looking at ads, reviews, and all of that. Reviews, how do you get? You actually go online, Google for maybe a YouTuber, or you see someone's blog or some websites. So all of them are influencers. They're influencing you to buy that particular brand, or suggesting you to give you an idea saying, okay, this is better than this. But they have to be unbiased, because once as an influencer, you will have to share your unbiased opinions. Even if you're doing a branded content, which we as influencers do quite a lot, but we keep it quite neutral. We don't say just for the heck of it, I wouldn't want to associate with the brand or be and sell out saying, okay, this brand is paying me more, so I'm going to just sell saying it's the best. But if it's not worth the way I promote it, or worth the way you basically talk about it, and the quality is not as good as it, next time you wouldn't follow me, or you wouldn't I wouldn't become a credible source for sharing information for you, and this will become a word of mouth. You will start sharing this with your friends and all of that. So unless you don't take me credibly, and you know me that okay, I am known for this, and my word has value, or you take it more seriously, then it doesn't make sense. So that is where we try to keep it as unbiased as possible and very neutral, and saying, okay, these are the facts. And when we also collaborate, we wouldn't collaborate with every brand. We would figure out, if I'm doing also with two brands which are on the competitive nature, I try to make sure that they don't compete on the same line. So we try to keep it. So for example, I work with OnePlus and I also work with Apple. I might do OnePlus for 3 months, but I would talk about what it is known for, not that what it's not known for, or I wouldn't talk something which is not part of, I wouldn't upsell it or talk very good about it when it's not good, right? So I'll try to keep that kind of balance very well. So you need to understand, as an influencer, you have little better response, you need to have better responsibility, and you need to know what is good, what is not so good, and have that fine balance. I think it all comes by experience once you start off. And the way they create select influencers also is content. I should have mentioned that earlier, but content is the king. Whatever you do, you will have to create good content, different, innovative, and niche content, because everyone is creating content. Can you make something little different out of it? Can you make it more interesting, or you can make it simple where it can reach out to the common people more better? And then engagement, like I said. So brands don't go on followers. They actually prefer more of engagement. And then what kind of content you are known for, with relevant to the brand as well. And then comes the followers. That is a much smaller thing. And then the budget, that is always there in every profession as well. So I would have answered most of these questions in the ahead in the previous slides itself, but these are the kind of bulletin points. If you think you just have to maybe make a checklist or start doing stuff. If you want to become an influencer, if you do these 10 or 11 things, you would obviously be there. You can start off as an influencer right away as well. So first you need to understand your niche. You need to know what, like if I'm doing travel, can I do luxury, or will I do a backpacking, or will I do solo travel, couple travel? Or if I'm into food, will I do cooking, or will I do only reviews of restaurant, or will I maybe do cuisines which I'm from? So for example, you are from a particular region and you've grown, so not everyone would know about it. For example, you're from South India, so there will be some recipes, or there will be some kind of dishes which are known only to your region or your family and all. So you can obviously start writing about it, sharing videos, photos, so people will start talking about it. Your follower numbers might be less, but if you start doing continuously for 6 months, you will see a great improvement in engagement, comment, followers, all of that. But you will have to be consistent. And platform, this also I mentioned earlier, you need to understand which platform works. So this you will have to do with what is the current trend. Okay, TikTok is working, but what do you want to do? Do you want to do travel? Will TikTok help with travel? Okay, how do I make those 10 or 12-second videos using TikTok? Can it be more funny? Because TikTok is known for more funny content, more humor, more comedy. Will travel or tech work? Maybe, maybe not. So I've tried travel content on TikTok, didn't work well. So I've been doing some little different stuff. It's yet to pick up, but I'm already doing well on Instagram. I'm already doing very well on Facebook with a verified page. And also I would stick, or I would build, maybe travel works better with Facebook or Instagram for sure, YouTube. So I would build these two, and then also have presence, but more emphasis and more reach and push on these particular things. And also, as if you still ask me why I'm on blog, like why I would write, and I still like writing. But one of the other reasons is I would say this is a platform, blog, where I own. I have control on this particular platform. If something goes wrong tomorrow, the content belongs to me. But what about social media channels? Like how Orkut closed down tomorrow, even Instagram or Facebook might go down. So all your hard work, what you have spent, might just disappear overnight. So you don't have control on what happens there, or reach and all of that. But I do have control on my blog. I can take backup. I can create a new blog with this content and then migrate it and all of that. So that's one of the reasons I have my blog active, and I'm still getting good reach out of it. We, especially in the last 4 years, I've been writing one blog post a day. Even today, if you see login, as per the present date, I've still written a blog on 6th of May as well. So I keep writing content every single day. So people know, okay, every day there is going to be new content. So let me go and see. Even now, every monthly, I'm getting average of 300K reach and readership. So that is quite nice. It keeps increasing every month. And how do you make money is what someone asked on blogging. So let me take it up right away. So on blog, how do I do? See, like I said, someone would pay you only if you are advertising, right? So advertise, or why would you advertise when some people are there to see what you advertise? So because I have so much of reach, I have so much of readership on my blog. I have 100,000 or 200,000 people reading my blog. So if I put an ad about that particular brand, then the brand would think, okay, they would use it, or they would consume that ad, and then it will help them. So that is where I do more of brand collaborations, or so this is also called affiliate marketing. So we do affiliate marketing, brand collaboration. So you work with the brand, you write about a brand, and also you give a link. Maybe if you say, okay, in case you guys like this and you want to buy this particular product, you could go to Amazon and buy. So if they buy as well, obviously on Google, so on blog, when you put, you can obviously link it to your website. There is something called a UTM link. In fact, how to become a blogger, I would suggest you can go on my blog. There is a blog for that. So you will know how to create a UTM link. It will know how much of people are coming from your blog to that Amazon site or something, and then buying. So based on that, you also start making money. That's one. Second, because you're promoting from about a brand, the brand also would pay you X amount, saying, okay, you're talking about me, so we will pay you money for that particular promotion. So these are the ways of doing on blogging. On social media, especially Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it is pure play brand promotion. So you use all types of brand would want to promote: tech, travel, lifestyle, food, fashion. Fashion is in fact one of the most fastest growing sectors in influencer marketing. In fact, even I envy them, because they actually make much more money than any of the other industries, both in India and internationally. In fact, I know some of them, some of the leading influencers make almost around 10 to 15 lakhs rupees a month. So this is the kind of, in fact, they also have team, they have people to help them and all. Initially, they started very humbly, very simple, with just mobile phone. Maybe on YouTube to create content, even using mobile phone only. They didn't have gimbals, they didn't have any fancy cameras or DSLRs, but they started off even in 2015, 16. It's just that they figured out, okay, this is the kind of content I like and I am known for. I will build on it. And they have been consistent, created content, and also have been active on all the channels other than the main channels as well, keeping that as the priority. And once that grows, obviously you start seeing your followers from you, subscribers from YouTube start following you of Instagram, Facebook, because they know you will share much more stories and on Instagram, Snapchat more often. So this is how it starts spreading. So you can make money. There are lots of money to be made. In fact, just to give you a number, I wouldn't want to give exact numbers of others or even me, but easily I know people starting from people who have 10,000 followers also do easily at 30, 40,000 rupees a month, with just doing normal brand promotions. It's just that it's all about building the niche and knowing what you talk about. And then prioritize content. Let me come back to this, how to become an influencer. You need to prioritize your content. Like, you need to know what content you want to talk. Even if you're talking about travel, you should talk only about travel, but in between you can have some content maybe related to food if you like, or lifestyle, but have one particular content which you are known for, or which you also want to be known for. And then listen to your audience. So everyone who is replying to you or commenting to you, engage with them, reply to them. So people always like feedback, right? If you're doing right or wrong, only through feedback you would know. So if people give some negative comments or neutral comments or positive, whatever is it, respond to them, engage with them. And this is very important on particular platforms, especially on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, not much, mainly TikTok and Instagram. Hashtag. So you will also have to start using relevant hashtags. So there are apps where you can use Instagram hashtag search. If you use, it will tell you based on your content, they will give you top 30 hashtag which people are always searching for. That way you will get more people to discover you on the platform. So this is very useful as an influencer, so that you reach to newer audience. If you have even 500 followers, but if you're using this hashtag, newer people will start seeing your post, and content is good, they'll start following you. That is how it works. This I've been telling at least 10-15 times in the whole seminar. Maintain consistency, and then collaborate with other influencers. So once you start becoming an influencer, start working with like-minded people. So you would meet people in events and other stuffs, or other people. So reach out to them, say, why don't we create content together? Let's do a video today together, so that their followers subscribers start following you, and you are, so it is like an exchange or cross exchange of reach and all of that. That is also quite important. I do quite a lot of that even now, with lots of them who even have much more reach. In fact, currently Instagram, I've been doing quite a lot of live sessions with lots of celebrities, followers, some YouTubers you might know, like Mumbaikar Nikhil and all. I'm planning to do live. Someone like Sean and all, whom we manage his social media and branding and all of that. So these kind of things, when you start doing, people, their followers start knowing you, and you would know them as well. So it works really well. This is something which you can do maybe at least once in 15 days. Host contests, giveaways, and ask me anything. Because nowadays on Instagram, you would have seen everyone or stories say, ask me anything. So that way you are engaging with your fans and followers. They would want to know something much more than what you are known for on the social media. Respond to fans, like I said. And this is very important. Have a content calendar. So you can't just randomly keep posting one content every day. You should figure out, once you start posting, that okay, Monday I will do maybe a travel content related to domestic, second day international content, third day some travel tip, fourth day Thursday or something, I would do something else, maybe a trivia or a quiz, something like that, or video. So you'll have to figure out what content you want to do. Keep trying out new things. If you know, and then you will figure out that okay, this content didn't work this particular day, so let me replace this with different. So also rework on timing. So there is no specific strategy or time solution saying okay, if you post at this particular time it will work. It works very different for different profiles based on your followers and subscribers, because some people might engage content early in the morning, some might engage in late in the night. But generally, if you see on an average, based on my experiences, Monday mornings and Friday late nights are the worst for engagement. Generally, none of them get engaged because most of them are busy. Monday morning, especially, people would be busy going to office, college, and all. Friday evening, people will be chilling out. They'll not be seeing your content or Instagram much. So, but other than that, keep trying, check your analytics. This is very important to go to your profile, especially Instagram. If you're using, please convert it into a business profile. Everyone can do a business or a content creator profile. So it's free for everyone. Just go to your settings and change the profile. You will start seeing analytics. And then in the analytics, it says, okay, this is the post which got maximum reach. This is the post which got better engagement. This is the post which didn't do well. You will know what time, what did well. So you can keep doing the trial and error. Every week, if you do this kind of testing, by checking your analytics, you will actually make a much better improvement in your reach and engagement levels as well. And then nowadays, this is something everyone is doing. You just have to go live. So people, you can go live. You're becoming like a reporter on your own. So just go live, talk to your people who are there online, engage. I keep doing almost every alternate day. I just want to engage with my followers or subscribers. I just go live and talk how their life is going on and all of that. So it's really nice. They also like to engage with you. They want to know what you're doing every day. And it's also good to engage with people who are following you as well. So, okay, before I come to this, I told about Macro Traveler. So the branding which all started, this is the main image in the center which you see with the globe. that is the Macro Traveler brand which I created. So this actually is the way I used to look initially, where I used to always have that trademark. In fact, people used to recognize me only if I would wear my Ray-Ban shades, green color reflectors, and that camera and all of that. So this is the brand which I created. So even if I go to airport, I used to get people coming to me and asking based on my outfit, oh, you're a Macro Traveler and all of that. So that's the kind of brand recall I got. So it's always very important to build that brand recall, so the people can relate to you. Like I said earlier, for every destination like Goa, Macau, Kuala Lumpur, I got that local kind of creative. So I did this. I didn't outsource it because, again, I didn't have a team to do all this. I wanted to keep my blogging and my influences thing to myself. I do have a big team for the companies we work with, but for my personal branding, I don't use any of them. So I do my own stuff. So it's all that you want to build a brand. People kind of relate to you. Like AirAsia, I went to Australia from when they had their 10th year anniversary. This was a couple of years back. I think I was the only blogger who flew to Australia Gold Coast to talk about their 10th anniversary celebrations and all of that. I've gone to the AirAsia. So the AirAsia also, like lots of brands like AirAsia and other airlines, they have this community globally. So they have this AirAsia blogger community. It's a global community of 50 bloggers across 50 countries. So I represented India as well. So I've been doing lots of these things related to travel. So brands then started recognizing me based on the kind of content I did. Even recently, I think 3 4 months back with Mauritius, again, this was a global thing where they had 30 bloggers from 30 countries. And there also they had a contest. This was for 7 days in Mauritius, where throughout the trip, you had to create content with hashtag, and the most engaging content, best photo, they get obviously awards, and I was lucky to win for the best photo as well. So these kind of brand campaigns and engagement you start getting. So once you build a brand, the companies or tourism boards or people related to that industry, what you do, they start reaching out to you and they start working with you. They want to build a long-term relationship. It's not like a one-time thing that I'm doing a campaign with you and I'm done with. So this keeps going on. Like with OnePlus, I've been working since their first mobile launch till date. So that is something we have built as a reputation and that kind of relationship with them. So these are one of the very few images I've done more than 700, 800 images. So I keep creating this. I also send this on WhatsApp to people on my status and groups and all of that, so that I get more engagement. In fact, what happens sometimes, I send this special Indian Air Force Day, I put a post. I have quite a lot of brand people on my channel. People didn't know, not many knew that is a particular day like that. So they see this and they pick up the story and then create post. So that way it also, you build a top of mind recall for people whom you work with, like brands and all. They know that, okay, you exist and you're doing something different. Then they start reaching out to you. They give you a better advantage or a little higher reputation or ranking when they make decisions of using influencers. So also on special milestones on my social media, like I recently, a month back, I started a campaign just before the lockdown for my Instagram, which is going to reach 200K followers. So I was doing a campaign as a giveaway. So in fact, we had giveaway where 3 phones by Huawei were the sponsors would be given out for the most engaging influences. So this did really well, got more than 3.5 million reach, and it got 500 plus likes and almost 25% engagement rates and all of that. So these kind of brand ideas, I started giving to brands, and they started liking it. So it can be both ways. Once you start working with brand, you start sharing that information to them, and they also use that. And they also know that you are proactive. It's not just that when they have a requirement, they reach out to you. So it has to be both ways. So these are again all the creatives I've done for Valentine's Day, for our Kannada Rajotsava. In fact, Labor Day as well. I've been doing this creative almost every year for May Day, which just passed by, Yoga Day. So lots of things. People kind of relate to it. It feels like kind of cartoon. In fact, I've also been working on an comic strip kind of thing. There are lots of other things coming. Like I said, there is a e-commerce site which I'm working on already. Even without having a site where I sell my products here. I have given more than 800, 900 shirts, like sold my macro traveler shirts, which I am wearing right now. I'll show it to you as well. So lots of people buy that. So this kind of helps to build new revenue streams. There is nothing, no restriction of how you do. You are a brand, you can go anywhere, any level to do stuff, but you have to stick to your transparent. You have to be transparent, stick to your ethos, and should know what is right, what is wrong. As long as you know that, you can do anything. The sky is the limit out here. And these are some of the brands which I've been working over the last 12 years. More than 2,500 brands I've worked with. Lots of hotel brands you would see. Um, Travel, then tourism. So, okay, let me come to some interesting stories on travel. I think I've been talking more of influencer marketing. So, travel, some of the travel stories I have done, like I have been part of. One is obviously I've done at least 30 to 40 to 50 travel international trips with brands, but the most I engage is personal trips, especially when I want to create content. It's not that I always like to go with brands, but most of the time, due to calendar and obviously to make a living, they reach out to us and they want us to be part of their press or fam trips. Fam trips are called familiarization trip. That is where they reach out to influencers or media or press people to go to the particular destination, explore the destination, and write about it, share. Like there are, if you take a destination, for example, India. In India, you have so many states. In each state, you have so many parts: North, Karnataka, South, East, West. Every place has its own. Not everyone would know those particular places, right? So everyone wants to talk about it. You want to get more people out there, because at the end of the day, it leads to an overall economy to the country as well. So this is something which has been doing really well with brands, and that's why they use us. Like even recently, just before Trump had come to India, President Trump, February, and just 2 days before, the UP tourism and also the Agra, they also have a tourism, just Agra. So these two had invited us and around 30 journalists and bloggers across India to visit Agra. That to Taj Mahal didn't want promotion, but we didn't go there to promote Taj Mahal. The hashtag said Agra beyond Taj. So the main reason they wanted to promote is they wanted to promote Taj. Other than Taj, there are things to see in Agra. That is the most important thing. Not many people obviously knew there are more things to do. In fact, I went for a city walk, and there are lots of parks, and in fact there is a very famous church out there which is more than 700 800 years old and all of that. So lots of other historical stuff and museums. You have a cycle tour which happens across Agra and all. No, people didn't know this, but when I visited that, did a post and all, they got great traction, and it was during the time when Trump had come, so the reach was even more. So this is the kind of things how brands want to talk about or engage, and even internationally, be it countries like Macau or Taiwan. I'm sure people, or Singapore for the matter, everyone would have gone to Singapore because that's the closest, or Thailand. In fact, I've done more than 14 trips. I was supposed to go one in May as well. Obviously, more than 8 trips currently in the last 1 month. 2 months have been cancelled because of the lockdown. But that's, like I said, that didn't affect me as much, because I've trying to figure out how I can create more content, even if it's not related to new travel content. Can I use my old content and create more engaging posts or something which people can relate to? Okay, so these were the questions which Arjun had given me, that people were asking on mail that time. I let me see if I missed something. I think the DSLR, like I said, how do you stand out? So the main reason, the main way you need to differentiate yourself is build a niche, build a brand. Everyone will be doing the similar stuff on the same line, but can people remember you? Or next time if someone wants to know about travel, will they remember Macro Traveler? or now how will they remember? Now they might remember me with my branding. So that is my way of doing. It doesn't need to be that what I do you also have to replicate. Some it might work for you, it may not work for you. So you need to understand, and that will happen by trial and error. It will not happen over a night or in a couple of weeks. It will take time. For us, it took 12 years to be where we are, to work with brands and globally, even Oscars being invited. It's not easy at all. But now, like I said, influencer marketing is gone to a level where everyone knows about it, brands know about it. It's easier to work. So for someone who starts off now also, it's easier to connect and work. So it's all about you need to build a niche, be consistent, start building a story about it. It might be the most silliest thing, but if it comes from your heart and you can talk about it as a story, I think nothing like it. Talk it's all about personalizing experience. You talk about things which from your heart, something which you're known for. Even if you talk about your village, where you come from, or things you can do near it, what kind of food they eat in the local region, tribal, what not, or what kind of things happen in your natives, even that actually builds a curiosity. And okay, creative process. So this I have spoken in bits of, like in between tidbits I have told that okay, you can create content, you need a content calendar, you need to be very precise on putting post every day, and all of that. But generally, okay, this is a very different way of seeing things. So I have not taken a holiday in the last 5 years. I have traveled extensively, um, done more than 2000 3000 odd flight trips in the last 5 years. But every time I travel, I don't look it as an vacation or a place to like a leisure trip. I look from an angle where I can create content. In fact, I start making videos even when I'm at home, from the time from packing till I go to airport and all of that. I look from that angle where I can create engaging content. Can people relate to me with the videos I create? In fact, that's one of the reasons I've started YouTube in the last it's been 3 months since I made it active. I thought things will do really well, especially when you create regional content. And that's something which has happened with me. Just in the last 6 months, from zero to I've reached to a good reach on my YouTube channel, which is called Macro Travel Tamil. I created a regional channel, which I thought would work well. One of the reasons is because there aren't too many people who create that kind of content, especially luxury. I'm more into luxury travel. That's what I do for a living. I kind of enjoy luxury as well. That's one of the reasons you would have seen the kind of brands I work as well. So not too many people do in that segment. So I thought, let me create a niche. So maybe in the next 1 year, if you see, even though I have big reach on my Instagram, they are not my target audience on YouTube, because I'm looking at Tamil, and it's a regional content. But on my other channels, I have a very English and Hindi speaking people and global people. So my TG, it is taking time for me to grow. But I know maybe in the next 1 year, if I'm consistent, I'm doing maybe 2 videos a day, a week, for the next 6 months or 1 year, it will grow. And I'm sure you will see the growth with me. So if I can do, you guys also can do now, start off, and you will see the change.
Nivedit, there is one question just to stop, which is asked by Saket.
Okay.
So he's asking, do you recommend to start from one platform or simultaneously work with more than one to start off with? What would you recommend?
Okay, so what I would recommend basically is to, like I said earlier as well, you need to figure out which you think is more comfortable with the kind of target audience or with the kind of content you want to create. So you want to create travel. So travel, and if you're comfortable in making videos, so you also have to understand what you would be good at. Would you be comfortable with photos or videos? Generally, videos work better, but if it's videos, YouTube and Insta would be a better option. You start off with this, but have presence. You need to have, like, if someone goes and searches for Macro Traveler, he should be on all other. I might be, like I said, I'm there on TikTok, but I'm not just active as much as I'm, or even if I'm active, I don't have as much as reach as I have on Instagram or on my Facebook. So my 2 channels have been Facebook and Instagram. in fact, Twitter was also doing really well for me. But like I said, no, you'll also have to analyze what works at that particular time, because there is no set rule saying, okay, for travel, this platform works. So it might work for some people. In fact, even now, I don't know if people even would know Pinterest. People have been using Pinterest. I don't use myself. I have a account there, but I'm not active because I kind of don't relate to that particular platform. But there are travel bloggers who are doing really well only on Pinterest. Food bloggers who are doing really well on Pinterest. They're getting sales and reach out of it. So it is all about what works. But you have one particular platform, one or two, one primary, secondary one, and then you have presence that you never know if that picks up suddenly. You can start, you obviously have a reach, so you already obviously have some content. Your reach also will start increasing. Start sharing similar content on other platforms as well, but give more importance to at least two platforms is what I would suggest.
Nivedit, there is one question which has been asked by Vinay sir.
Okay.
There are a couple of things which he wanted to ask is, one, how do we get to know which is the trending hashtags for somebody starting for the first time, and where do we get it from? That is one question. The other question which was asked is, how frequent do we post or write on it?
Okay. So let me start with the hashtag part of it. So how do you find out hashtags? Like I said, hashtags works very well with a particular platform. So Instagram works well with the hashtags. TikTok work well with hashtags. Twitter also works. Facebook on YouTube, not much. Like the platform itself doesn't have that kind of capability to search based on hashtags. So Instagram, how do you know what is the most happening or trending hashtags is? What you there are two ways to it. One, you have apps on your app store and all of the, be it iOS or Android. There are apps which says that Instagram has top Instagram search. If you see, you will see multiple things. You can use the one which has the maximum downloads. So they actually, well, you can start putting category there. So what it does, either it syncs with your account or it gives you different categories. Like for food, it gives top 30 hashtags in India or globally. So it gives you different based on regions and geographical settings. It gives you hashtags. So you can use those 30. Also, you can use maximum of 30 hashtags only on a post. That's the platform's capability. So you always don't use too many, like you use 30 hashtags, but don't use too less hashtags as well. At least 15 to 30 is a good amount, but always use the top trending hashtags, and also use at least two hashtags, one your own personal brand. Like I use hashtag macro traveler. Like if you are you have a brand or your name, start using that, so that in the future, like over a year or so, if you click also, you can start seeing those particular hashtags also coming out. So that's the way of using hashtag, knowing what is the trending hashtags.
And like you suggested, it's always better to start off with a niche and then maybe look into different things. But to build your brand, it's always better to start a niche, right?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, it's open right now. Anyone wants to ask any question, you can just ask. We have another 10 minutes. So we have just kept it open. Anyone wants to ask any question? I think Nivedit has covered all the topics what you guys had posted on our chat forum.
Yes, I'm actually looking at that.
Okay. How will this niche change after this pandemic? Any idea of that?
Okay, so niche as such wouldn't change too much, especially regarding influencers. Like I said, everything will get back to normal after some time. Like for example, the most affected industry, not only in influencer, but I'm sure globally also would be tourism and hospitality, because they are the front runners in this kind of thing. Especially when you say social distancing and tourism, they don't go very well with each other right now. So lots of things will change. In fact, this pandemic will lead to a lot of things changing in the future. The way you travel, even within your city or your town, or domestically across India or globally as well. International travel, personally, I feel would take longer. Sorry, but personally, travel. And domestic is going to pick up quite a lot. As per the understanding, there'll be quite a lot of domestic travel maybe in the next 6 months.
No, she has cleared already. Sorry. No. So there was something which came in between. So I was just reading that message.
Okay.
By Nikhil, which says, "How do you reach out to the brands, or are the brands reaching out to you?"
Okay. So one of the ways even now I do reach out to brands. Most of the time it's been the other way around, but when do you want to work with a particular brand or something, how I reach out is the best way is to reach out to on their social media profiles or their pages. So nowadays every brand, go to their website, you would see that they would have given what are the official pages, because some brands may not be active on all channels. Like I said, they will have presence everywhere, but they'll be active on one particular platform, maybe Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. So you go to their website and then see which are the official channels which are linked there. Click on the channels, go to their channels, drop in the message, or go take their email ID, info email ID, drop in. Most of the time social media helps, because when you ping them saying, okay, I'm so and so and I would want to collaborate with you, this is the kind of idea I have. So have a kind of rough idea what you want to do, rather than an open thing saying I just want to work with you guys. So saying that, okay, this is something I can help you guys with, and you send them a message, they'll get back to you. Most of the time it will be the marketing or the PR people who will be managing the social media channel, so they will reach out to you.
Okay, there's a last question by Aarti.
Yes.
Is there an ideal way of starting as an influence?
Okay. So ideal, I said right now, the current scenario, especially 2019-20, things have changed. Earlier, people wanted more of celebrities or people who had more followers. Now, people want nano and micro influences, which is what I've told earlier. So the reason why I gave you lots of information, what the industry wants is, you would, it shouldn't be like you would get discouraged because you don't have followers and all of that. That doesn't work. That's not the thing which is working right now. So the amount of followers doesn't matter at all, as long as you build niche. So all you start, like I said, the best way is to start building a niche. First, figure out what you like, start creating content for next 3 to 6 months every single day on 2 to 3 platforms. I think that's the best way to start off with. You will start seeing the change.
Okay. Guys, if there are any other questions, please, you can come on the audio and let us know. Otherwise, I think Nivedita has given a complete idea about how do we look at an influence marketing. Yes, shared his insights. And I don't think so you would get anyone who has done it. We have all learned it from the theoretical side on how this works, but he has done it for last 10-12 years. I've been following him from last good amount of 10 years, I guess, right now. So I know the way his journey has grown from nothing till what he is today. So if you guys have anything, you can always reach out to him on any of his social media channels.
Absolutely.
I think
let me give you my contact details if you guys want, so that I think I have it on my PPT as well. So if you guys can see it now, so that's my number. You can WhatsApp me or you can email me as well. This is my email ID.
Right. Yeah. So thank you, Nivedit. Thank you so much for spending time with our students. It's at least when they're sitting back home during this COVID-19, I think they would have something to think about.
Absolutely. They can just start off being putting off one post every day. I think that's good enough to start off with.
And especially when they have lots of photos on their mobile phone, I think few of them should really start looking into it. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you again over the social media, and we'll catch up soon.
No problem.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming.
Please do fill up the feedback form so that we know where, if there's anything that we need to work on, it would always give us feedback about it. Thank you so much, Vinay sir, for attending a session. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nivedit.
Thank you.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.